The movie starts in the city of Monstropolis, where a monster called Phlegm is put up in a training simulation for scaring children at night. But he fails and is himself scared. The trainer tells him that his biggest mistake they shouldn't do was leaving the door open, because it could let in a child. The CEO of Monsters, Inc. is a crab-like monster called Mr. Waternoose, and he explains that a human child is the most toxic and deadly thing, which can kill a monster with a single touch. The main task of Monsters, Inc. is to scare children and collect their screams, which provide power for their city of Monstropolis, and so he needs confident and intimidating scarers. Mr. Waternoose needs them to be as good as James P. Sullivan, a gentle monster who is partnered with his best friend, Mike Wazowski, who leads him to have a morning scaring exercise. The two are too excited to be featured in the Monsters, Inc. TV commercial, and Mikey even calls to see if his family saw him. They also learn that children are becoming insensitive to scares due to their overexposure to television. Later, they walk through the city of Monstropolis, greeting their fans, and they head into the Monsters, Inc. building, where Mikey meets the secretary, Celia May. They also meet Sully's main rival, called Randall Boggs, a monster who can turn invisible and blend into different backgrounds to scare people, and he hopes to defeat Sullivan in breaking the scare record. They then go on their duties with Mike working as a training assistant, while Sully and Randall are part of the scarers. The scarers are then set through teleportation doors to go scare children and collect screams. Sully is still a little ahead of Randall, while another monster returns being terrified of the little child who almost touched him. One monster called George returns with a sock on him, and they sound the red alert so that he could be decontaminated. Mr. Waternoose is still concerned by the children nowadays not being scared, and he invites Sully to teach some new recruits. Later after work, Mikey wishes to take his girl, Celia, out, but he forgets to file some paperwork, so Sully offers to stay back and do the work for him. Sully finds a lone door on the work floor, and as he takes a peek through it, a child appears in the workroom and touches him, and he is so scared as per the myth. He returns the child to her room, but she clings onto his back and keeps following him around. When he takes her back again, he sees Randall coming out of the room and removing the door, so he takes her with him in a bag. Meanwhile, as Mikey and Celia are having a dinner date, Sully appears to tell his friend about the kid, but she wanders off and reveals herself, scaring everyone. The Child Detection Agency, CDA, are alerted for decontamination, and the news reports a child security breach. One local reports that he saw the kid blast a car with her laser vision, while another claims that he tried to run, but she picked him up with her mind powers. Sully and Mike manage to get the kid to their home, but she chases them around and they have never been more terrified. Sully calms her with a doll, and when Mikey takes it away, she screams loudly, causing an electrical burst, and they realize they have to devise different ways to make her calm. Mikey is scared that the kid could harm them, but Sully finds her harmless and he puts her to sleep. Before sleeping, the kid shows Sully a drawing of Randall, who is the monster that scares her, and he sits around till she goes to sleep. Sully tells Mikey that the kid doesn't seem dangerous to him, and the following day they decide to take her back to her room door. They dress her in a monster costume, and at work, the kid wanders to meet Mr. Waternoose, but he doesn't notice and reminds Sully about the scare demonstration. They go into the washrooms, and when Randall appears, they all hide into one toilet, from where they hear about Randall's plans of finding the child and telling his friend to get the machine running. Later, Mike tries to get the kid through any door available, but Sully refuses and the kid wanders away again. Randall notices from a Gazette picture that the kid was near Mike Wazowski, and he confronts him and asks him to bring the kid to him before the kid's door closes. Sully chases after the kid, who he named Boo because of her pranking tactics, and finds her with some other little monsters. Mike then takes them to the door Randall talked about, and he starts by entering it to prove it's real, but he gets kidnapped by Randall, who thought it was Boo. Sully follows Randall to his secret basement, where they see his machine for extracting screams from kidnapped children. Sully rescues Mikey after distracting Randall, and they run for their lives. He then leads them to get help from Mr. Waternoose, but he instead puts Sully in a scaring simulator, which ends up scaring Boo as she sees his scary side. Boo runs from Sully and also sees his hideous face from the computer simulator, and is now sad that the kid had to see him that way. Mr. Waternoose sees the kid, and Mikey convinces him that Boo is actually sweet, and the incident was caused by Randall, and Waternoose plans to help Boo. However, it turns out that Waternoose is in on Randall's scheme, and he throws Sully and Mike through a door, trapping them in the Himalayas snowscape. There, they meet with the abominable snowman, who dislikes the name people gave him, and he welcomes the duo. However, Sully is still sad about the way Boo looked at him, scared, while Mikey blames him for getting them stuck there. Snowman reveals there's a local village around, and Sully plans to get there to save Boo. This time, Mike refuses to accompany his pal, and Sully braves the blizzard alone to find the village. He soon crashes, but thankfully from afar, he sees the little houses with kids screaming, and he then sneaks back into the monster world through one door. Meanwhile, Randall places Boo in his scream extractor, while Mr. Waternoose is disappointed in himself after he banished his best scarer, but Randall promises the machine will do the task. However, Sullivan soon barges into Randall's chambers and rescues Boo from the machine, and she's never been happier. Randall soon turns invisible and attacks Sully, while Boo runs off. Fortunately, Mikey arrives to help, and they run away with Boo. On the way, Mike's girlfriend Celia finds him and demands answers for his absence. Mike explains, but she only believes when she sees the kid, and she gets left behind, in shock. Randall later follows the duo, who are looking for Boo's door in the door's station, and he grabs Boo. However, Sully rescues her and they get a hold of Randall, and throw him into a door into an RV. There, the family mistakes him for a gator, and they pound on him with a shovel. Sully and Mike destroy the door, leaving him trapped there, and they take Boo to her door. Sully sends Boo home, but Mr. Waternoose wants to take the child, and he claims that scaring isn't good enough anymore. However, he soon realizes that he is in the simulation room, and Mike and Sully set him up to expose himself, and he gets arrested by the CDA officers. The CDA chief is actually Madame Roz, the floor secretary, who reveals she went undercover to investigate the company. Boo is sent through her door, and she says goodbye to her friend Mike Wazowski and shows Sully her room and her toys. Sully says goodbye to Boo, and this time she cannot follow his kitty back to Monster World, since they have now put her door through the shredder. Madame Roz also asks them to destroy all paperwork of the incident, and they agree to keep the matter buried. Later, now that the factory is to be shut down, Sully figures out that laughter is more powerful than screaming. Sully becomes the new CEO of the company, and the monsters now work as comedians, devising various jokes to collect laughter from the kids. However, Sully still misses Boo, and Mike surprises Sully with Boo's door, which he secretly reassembled. Sully then fits in the last remaining piece he collected from the shredder to activate the door. He then has one more peek inside, and Boo is heard calling him Kitty, and the thrilling film comes to an end. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. I'll be back with another interesting movie recap. Until then, take care.